बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम अल्लाहुम्मा रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम आमीन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन. In this lecture, I will discuss the solutions of P39709 component 32 of November 2020. And for this, I am using the work of an outstanding, the most dedicated, and one of my best student, Miss Iman Anwar, of class 2021, the Lyceum. Well, all instructions are important, especially the last one. Give non-exact numerical answers, non-exact numerical, up to 3 significant figures or 1 decimal place for angles in degrees, unless a different level of accuracy is specified in the question. An important advice or tip for you: always read the questions carefully so that you can extract the given informations correctly and properly. Question number 1. We have to solve this equation and we have to give our answer up to 3 decimal places. Solve means find the value of x, and for that you need to convert this equation into index form. You need to remove this ln, and for that you need to use this format. This is the logarithmic form and this is the index form. For index form, you copy y here, you copy this thing here, and you make e as the base of this x. You write y and here e power x. Same is here. When you will remove ln from this equation, you will need to write 1 plus e minus 3x. Copy this thing here and write on right hand side e to the power 2 according to this rule. This is the index form. Copy this and write on right hand side e power 2. This 2 will become the power of this base e. Now separate e power minus 3x because we are working for x. And then take ln on both sides. When you will take ln on both sides onto this equation, you will get this thing. And you know, according to power law, this will become minus 3x ln e, and ln e is 1. So finally you will have minus 3x ln e square minus 1. This thing. This student is very smart. She did this directly. Well, since we are working for x, therefore we have to divide this negative 3 on right hand side and then use your calculator and evaluate this. And make sure you give your answer up to 3 decimal places. Question number 2. Expand this in ascending powers of x up to and including the term in x cube, simplifying the coefficients. Well, this is the question of binomial theorem, and fortunately the first term is 1, so we can use the theorem straight away. According to binomial theorem, we need to copy the first term, then we need to write n second term power 1 over 1 factorial. Then we need to write n minus 1 second term power 2 over 2 factorial. This is n minus 1, n minus 2, second term power 3 over 3 factorial. Then simplify this correctly. This is the final answer. State the set of values of x for which expansion is valid. For that, use this formula. This is the condition for the values of x for which the expansion is valid. So write the second term here. Here, replace x by second term, which is 6x, and then solve for modulus x. Get the value of modulus x. For that, you need to bring this 6 from the modulus. When you will bring this from the modulus, it will become 6 modulus x less than 1. And finally, modulus x will become 1 upon 6, less than 1 upon 6. So these are the values of x for which this expansion is valid. Well, the variables x and y satisfy this relation by taking logarithms. Show that the graph of y against x is a straight line. You have to show that this equation can be written in this form. This is the straight line. This means linear log. So you just need to take log on both sides, and then you need to convert your equation into this form. When you will take log on both sides, you will get this thing, and by using power law you will have y ln 2 and 1 minus 2x in bracket ln 3. You have to separate y. For that you need to divide this ln 2 on right hand side. Now this is of this form. This is the gradient. X is here, c is here. This means y against x. That's the gradient. Second part. Find the exact x coordinate of the point of intersection of this line with this line, meaning this line with this line. For that you need to solve these two equations simultaneously. Replace this by 3x, then bring this ln 2 on left hand side. After that bring this x ln 9 on left hand side so that we can take x common. Then divide this thing on right hand side. Use the product law of ln here and get this form. This is of this form. And a and b are integers. See, this is a and this is b. Show that the equation can be written in this form. This is very simple. You know the formula of sum of angle of tan. If you remember this formula, it's fine. Otherwise, you can use MF19. This is the formula of tan theta plus 60. This one. Tan theta plus tan 60, 1 minus tan theta tan 60. And you know cot theta is the reciprocal of tan. So you need to write 2 cot theta as 2 upon tan theta. Tan 60 is root 3. Now do the cross multiplication and get this answer. Hence solve this equation for this domain. This domain means you need to work in first and second coordinates only. So number one, use quadratic formula because this is the quadratic equation and breaking the middle term is not possible. So use quadratic formula. Get two values of tan theta. Make sure you write tan theta on left hand side because the variable is tan theta. You are getting these two values. This number means tan is in first quadrant and this number means tan is in second quadrant. Get the alpha of both the values. The alpha for this is 19.8. When you will take inverse of tan for this, you will get this thing. And when you will take inverse of tan of positive 5.556 because you are working for alpha. Whenever you work for alpha, you ignore negative sign. You will get this thing. So 19.8 is here. So this is the first answer. It's here. And this 79.8 is here. So the answer will be 100.2. Make sure you give your answer up to 1 decimal places. 1 decimal place. Because the answers are in degrees. When answers are in degrees, we give answer up to 1 decimal place. Now these are parametric equations. Show that the gradient, meaning dy upon dx, of the curve at the point theta with parameter theta is this. We have to show dy upon dx is this. For that we need to differentiate both of these equations with respect to theta. When you will differentiate cos square theta with respect to theta, you will get this thing. You know cos square theta is the composite function. So when you will differentiate this, you will get 2 cos theta sine theta negative. So your answer is negative 2 sine theta cos theta. This is the differential of y with respect to theta. When you will differentiate as x with respect to theta, you will get sec square theta. And this is the formula for parametric equations. Leave this for a moment. I will discuss this later in this in the second part. In fact, just leave this for a moment. This is dx upon theta, d theta, and this is the formula for the gradient of parametric. Now substitute the values here. You know cos sec square is 1 upon cos square. When you will bring cos square here, it will become cos cube. This is what we had to show. Next part. Before solving the next part, let me tell you this thing. You have done this. This is the implicit function. If I ask you find dy upon dx, you cannot differentiate this with respect to x because this is y depends, in this equation y depends on theta. So if I ask you find dy upon dx for this equation, so this equation will become implicit function. So you need to write d theta upon dx here. So if you are differentiating this with respect to x, make sure you multiply your answer by d theta upon dx because of implicit functions. Similarly, if I ask you differentiate this with respect to x, if I ask you find d2y over dx2, so this function is implicit because here we have x and here we have theta. When these two are different, the function is always implicit, like here. So if you are finding d2y over dx2 in this, for this equation, then you need to multiply your differential with d theta upon dx as you multiply this thing in your implicit function. So make sure whenever these two are different, the function is always implicit. So you need to multiply the your answer by this thing, d theta upon dx. You can learn this in this way, d theta upon dx. Now part B. This is very important. The gradient. They are not saying y, they are saying the gradient of the curve has its maximum value at the point P. You have done this concept in P1. Meaning gradient has its maximum value. If I ask you find the maximum value of area, then you have to differentiate area, equate the differential to 0, get x, and then substitute x here to get the value of a. But here they are saying the gradient dy upon dx of the curve has its maximum value at P, meaning you have to differentiate dy upon dx. You need to work for d2y over dx2, and for that you need to multiply this result, the answer of this, by d theta upon dx. Why? Because this function is implicit. This is an implicit function. See, we have x here and theta here. So whenever we have implicit function, we always multiply our answer by d theta upon dx, meaning this variable should be here and this variable should be here. And now we need the value of d theta upon dx, which is here. See, we had dx upon d theta sec square theta. So if you take the reciprocal of this d theta upon dx, the reciprocal of sec square will become cos square theta. So you have to find the value of d theta upon dx from this equation, which is here, cos square theta. Now multiply the value of d theta upon dx here. So this is the answer of second derivative. Now equate second derivative to 0 because you are working for the maximum value of gradient. So when you will equate second derivative to 0, then this entire thing will be 0. So now we have cos power 4 theta 0 and this thing to 0 is equal to 0. When you will solve this equation, you'll get two answers, pi by 2 and minus pi by 2. But the problem is the domain is this. So you cannot take these two answers, these two. You just need to remove these answers, ignore these answers. Now tan square theta is 1 upon 3. So tan theta is plus minus 1 upon root 3. So we are getting two values of x. See, this is the equation of x. So when you will substitute the values of tan theta here in this equation, you will get two answers, this and this. But since x is negative, see, x is negative, so you have to take the negative answer. You have to ignore this answer. Because x is negative at P. So that's the final answer. This question is very important, and this is the first time we are getting a question of this type. If you want to take the screenshot of this solution, you can, because this question is a new question. We don't have any question from 2002 to 2020 June. We don't have any question of this type. This one. This is the first time we have this question. Next question. This is so simple, you just need to rationalize this, and you all know how to rationalize this. 1 plus I, 1 plus I. So when you will rationalize this, you'll get this thing. Do this carefully, these calculations carefully. Show on a sketch on an Argand diagram points A, B, C. A is U is this, so it is here, 3 plus 4i. Make sure you label the Argand diagram, real Z, imaginary Z. 7 plus I is here, which is B, and 1 minus I is here, which is C. Done. The next part, by considering the arguments of this and this, show that this thing. So this is so simple. You need to use argument, this formula of argument u upon v, because we have 4 upon 3 here, so we use u upon v. This will become argument u minus argument v. So 7 plus I and 1 minus I, this and this. This is u and this is v. So substitute u here and v here. Now the simplified form of this is 3 plus 4i. We have this here. And this is in first quadrant, so its argument must be tan inverse 4 upon 3. This is also in first quadrant, tan inverse 1 upon 7. This is in fourth quadrant, so its argument must be minus tan inverse minus 1 upon 1, or you can write this in this way as well. If you are working for alpha, you need to write this as because this is in fourth quadrant. So in fourth quadrant, argument is minus tan inverse y upon x. Y is 1 and x is 1. So this will become pi by 4. Tan inverse 1 is pi by 4. This minus and this minus will become plus. So this is what we had to show. This question is very important. And with the help of this rule, you can easily prove this. But you must be good at the properties of argument and argument. You must know how to find arguments of the complex numbers. This question is simple. The differential equation question. The first part is we need to do the variables separable. We need to bring 3t here and dt here, and we need to bring cos square here. So after variable separable, we have this. Now bring this cos square in numerator, e power 3t in numerator as well. So when you will bring this in numerator, this will become sec square, this will become e minus 3t. Sec square, the integral of sec square is tan 2x upon 2, e minus 3t upon minus 3. By substituting these values, we can get the value of c. Now we need to make x subject. For that, we need to take tan inverse. So x is half tan inverse this thing. Now the next part. State what happens to the value of x when t tends to infinite. Well, when t tends to infinite, then this exponential will tend to 0. Therefore, x will tend to half tan inverse 2 upon 3, 1, and this will be 0. So x will tend to half tan inverse 2 upon 3. This is the answer. Vectors, number 8, question number 8. we have all four position vectors of all 4 points. Show that AB is 2CD. This is so simple. We just need to find the magnitudes of these two. So AB is this, OB minus OA. CD is this, OD minus OC. Now just find the magnitudes. The magnitude of AB is this, and the magnitude of CD is this. Now check these two. This is 2 root 6 and 6. See, this result is 2 root 6 and this is root 6 shown. Find the angle between the direction. This is so simple. Just we have AB, we have this vector and we have this. We just need to use the scalar product formula. So AB dot CD, AB, CD magnitudes cos theta. We have their magnitudes. We just need to evaluate this dot product. 2 times 2 makes 4. Minus 2 minus 4. That's the final answer. Make sure you give your answer up to 1 decimal place. Next part. Show that the line through A and B does not intersect the line through C and D. This is so simple. First get the directions. First make the equations of these two lines. We already have the directions of these two lines. AB and CD are the directions of these two lines. So the equation of line AB is this. R, you can use either A or B here. It's your choice. A is 215. This student use A here. You can use B here if you want. This is AB. Q. Now equation of line CD, you can either use C here or D here. This student use, I guess, C. So now equate the R's of both the lines and then form 3 equations and solve any 2 equations for the values of mu and lambda or t. So lambda is 1/3 and t is minus 1 upon 6. Now substitute these values into that equation which you did not consider during solving. You did not consider this last equation. Now substitute these values into equation number 3. This equation is not satisfying. Therefore lines do not intersect. That means lines are skewed. Next question, partial fraction. This factor is linear and this is quadratic. You know, we write constant in numerator when we have linear factor, and for quadratic we write linear factor in numerator. The values of x are minus 2 upon 3, and from quadratic factor we always have x 0. First substitute minus 2 upon 3 and then substitute 0. First get this equation. So when x is minus 2 upon 3, a is 3. When x is 0, c is 3. Now substitute any value of x which will make the calculation simple. So x is 1. When x is 1, b is minus 1. So these are the values of a, b and c. Make sure you substitute these values into this equation. That's the required partial fraction. The first value is from this factor, and from quadratic x is always 0. Just suppose one other value. Now you need to integrate this thing, and this is your f of x. So this is very important, an important integration question. This is simple. This will become ln differential is here, so it will become ln 3x plus 2 straight away. But this thing is extremely important. This is a proper fraction, and you have to break the LCM. Unless you break the LCM, you won't be able to integrate this. So make sure you break the LCM in this way. 3 minus x. Now this is the structure of tan inverse, and this is the application of basic formula 2. So this will become 3 upon 2. Let me integrate this here. 3, 1 upon x square plus 2 square. So this will become 1 upon 2. We write the reciprocal of this here according to tan inverse formula, and then we write tan inverse the fraction of these two. This is the way we use tan inverse formula to integrate functions of this type. Now we have this thing here. This entire thing is here. This is simple. This is the application of basic formula 2. This will become the differential of this is 2x, so 2 is missing, so ln modulus upon 2. Now apply the limits 0 and 2 and do the calculations carefully. You must be good at algebra and logarithms, and then you'll get this answer. You can take the screenshot of this solution if you want, because this question is very important. Next question. Iteration. Y is equal to root cos x, and its minimum at m at x is equal to a. Show that a satisfies this equation. This is so simple. You just need to differentiate this and then substitute at xa. This is very simple. This is uv. So according to uv formula, uv prime vu prime. So half, this is student use in this way: u prime v prime u. This is u prime v, and this is u v prime. She use in this way. It's all right because we have plus signs, so no problem. So the differential of under root x is 1 upon 2 root x. Cos x is here. Then copy under root x, and the differential of cos is minus sin x. Equate this to 0. So we have this thing. Now by equating gradient to 0 and simplifying this, equating gradient to 0 and substitute xa. When you will do this, you will get this thing. And finally you will get this tan a 1 upon 2a. This next part is very simple because you have to find the root, and the first value is 3. You have to do the iteration up to 4 decimal places. So you have to stop the process as soon as you get the repeated number. This is the repeated number, so your answer is 3.29 up to 2 decimal places. Find the volume of the solid. This is the formula of the volume of revolution. You have done this in A1. About the x-axis. So pi under root x cos x whole square dx according to this formula. This is by parts. When you will simplify this, you will get x cos square x, and it is by parts twice. This is by parts twice. You have to use by parts twice here. Limits. For limits, y is 0. So you are 2 limits. You have 2 limits, pi by 2 and 3 pi by 2. You are getting 2 limits. This is the lower and this is the. You have to check this. Which area? Find the volume of solid obtained when the r is rotated. Where is r? R is here. So the limits are 0 and pi by 2. This is the upper limit and this is the lower limit. Now you have to check this. This student made this simple by replacing cos square x through this double angle formula. Now you have to use by parts just once. Otherwise you had to use by parts twice. So this is x, this is u, and this entire is dv. When you integrate this, you will get this thing. This student is very smart. If I would have used, then I would use by parts twice here. She used the double angle formula. I didn't know, I didn't have any idea about this. This is very smart. Amazing solution. So this is V and this is du. Now this is the by parts formula. Substitute everything in the formula carefully. U, du and V. So u is x, v is this, v is here, and du is dx. Now apply limits here and then integrate this and then apply the limits carefully. Amazing solution. If you wouldn't convert this cos square x through double angle formula, then you would have to use by parts twice here. But this student is very smart. She converted this in through double angle formula and converted the power 2 into power 1 and then used by parts just once. That's the final answer. I hope this lecture will help you to understand the solution of this paper well. Uh, an important advice for me and for everyone: we should be good to others and practice as much as you can to be good at math. Allah Hafiz.